Live and Live. Buy original, be original. SON.
Hello and welcome to another edition of your program, Standard and You. It's our program because we cover all aspects of the human activities through standardization. You know, it's a fact that this platform remains the only channel on television where you get to know about product safety and quality. Standard and You is powered by the Standards Organization of Nigeria, the SON. Join us on this station on Mondays at 6:30 p.m. I am Ifeoma Okonkwo, and as always, my pleasure to bring the program to you. Stay tuned, because I'll be back shortly.
The Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, brings a new lease of life to Nigerian SMEs. SON has put a greater premium on developing standards aimed at improving the exports of the nation's food and cash crops. This explains why we have developed more standards for Nigeria's produce like sesame, cocoa, garri, and more, courtesy our accredited state-of-the-art laboratories. In keeping with the federal government's ease of doing business, SON has simplified its processes and turnaround time for SUNCAP and MANCAP to reduce substandard products and legal arm to prosecute offenders. Join the Standards Organization of Nigeria in ridding our nation of substandard goods due to consistent market surveillance and raids. See something, say something. The Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving life through standards.
There are indications that Nigeria is set to make remarkable impact in global standardization in the area of electrotechnical equipment and appliances, following the activities of Nigeria National Electrotechnical Committee. Director General of the SON, Osita Aboluma, made this known at the National Electrotechnical Summit held in Abuja. These are stakeholders in the electricity subsector, ranging from generation, distribution, manufacturing, transmission, importers, consumers, and research institutions. The event also attracted policymakers, professional associations like the Nigerian Society of Engineers. The SON boss, who was represented by the Director of Operations of the agency, Engineer Felix Inyado, emphasized that standardization is critical to the new dynamics and fundamental changes introduced in the electrotechnical sector. This, he said, has become imperative to address the before now largely self-regulated national power company unbundled into several private firms. According to him, the summit was aimed at working out modalities to engage experts on how to achieve quality and safety of product system practices in the country.
The emphasis on standardization is particularly important at this point, given the new dynamics and fundamental changes introduced in the sector by the implementation of government's policy or reform programs, which has seen the hitherto largely welded regulated national power company unbundled power company, we mean NEPA, being unbundled into several private sector-driven companies. Today's interaction thus become most necessary to work out the modalities to better engage experts from the Nigerian electricity supply industry in the development and implementation of electrotechnical standards to ensure quality and safety of products, systems, and practices in the country. More importantly, at this juncture where the government of Nigeria is beginning to integrate all the market surveillance authorities in the country, these are mean the regulators that are monitoring consumers' interests across the dynamics of the supply chain. The Nigerian Electrotechnical Summit is therefore aimed at creating awareness on the benefits of the integration of standards and the need for the Nigerian electrotechnical experts to be more involved in the process of standards development, both at the national and international level.
Standards build trust, without which technological advancements and innovations that are making lives easier and smarter would not have been possible. We speak and make standards possible at the Standards Organization of Nigeria. As a standardization body, our core mandate is standards development, to make sure that standards are available. For these reasons, we would continue to strengthen and maximize the existing partnership between Nigeria and IEC, being the leading role player in the electrotechnical standardization. There is therefore so much that Nigeria will benefit from the works of IEC, considering global technological advancements. The Nigerian markets and consumers are constantly procuring and applying electrotechnical and other related technology-based products and services to improve life. Therefore, there is no better time than now to organize a summit in order to reposition our National Electrotechnical Committee for beneficial participation in global standardization.
Apart from creating awareness on the benefits of implementation of standards, the summit also emphasized the need for the Nigerian electrotechnical experts to be deeply involved in the process of standards development at national and international levels. Engineer Tessiu Wudil of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, who represented the chairman of the Nigerian National Committee of IEC, commended the SON for championing Nigeria's participation in international standards development.
On our part, we assure you that those of us who have taken the flag of flying standardization will also follow suit what these two gentlemen have done. So be rest assured, to improve the lives of Nigerians, it is our belief that standardization is the way. In every aspect of our life, standardization is the way, especially in electrotechnical activities. These days, you don't cross border, no border. The whole world is borderless, but standards is making it possible for that. So I welcome you to this workshop, and I call on you, please give your optimum contribution to the discussions as we go.
Director General of the Consumers Protection Council, CPC, Babatunde Irukera, acknowledged the challenge and risk associated with the enforcement of standards on imported goods and advocated for increased investment in the local production of electrical equipment and appliances. Offering the Cable Manufacturers Association of Nigeria's perspective, General Manager, Coleman Wires and Cables, Engineer Michael Onofowokon said, the collaborative effort between the association and the SON has translated to greater success for operators in the industry.
Let me congratulate the Standards Organization of Nigeria for putting together such a fantastic event. Standards, as you all know, is important in every aspect of life. And when it comes to manufacturing, I'm not sure we can do anything without consulting relevant standards. And as SON has been working strenuously over the years to ensure and enforce standards across the various sectors of the economy, it is our pleasure to say that we are partners with them to ensure that everything that is produced within our shores meets both local and international standards, which brings us to the reason why we're here today. Working together with the IEC has been something that's been developing over the years. SON, and if you're familiar with standards, you know that the Nigerian industrial standards are always associated with the IEC. I want to say that we as manufacturers will continue to partner with them. We are fully committed to SON, we're fully committed to IEC, And the message from the President is that we will continue to be partners in progress as we continue to build our nation and our manufacturing and real sector of the country. So once again, congratulations.
He acknowledged the wide use of IEC standards by the Nigerian cable manufacturers, adding that many of such standards have been adopted as Nigeria industrial standards. There were paper presentations at the summit with special focus on motivating more countries in the continent to adopt and use IEC international standards and conformity assessment systems. Highlights of the one-day summit was the formation of national mirror committees for various IEC technical committees, which include electrical equipment and systems for railway, overhead lines, power transformer, and secondary cells and batteries. Meanwhile, as part of activities by the SON to check the distribution of fake and substandard products in Nigeria, the Standards Organization of Nigeria held its sensitization program on the reduction of substandard products in the northwest region of the country. The Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria, represented by the Regional Coordinator Northwest Zone, Mr. Dauda Yakubu, emphasized the need for a deliberate partnership between the agency and operators of the private sector to work together to check the menace of substandard products.
The essence of this sensitization forum is geared towards creating a robust awareness and reinforcing product and users' alertness concerning substandard products. The culture of quality and standard should be imbibed by all and sundry. Therefore, furthermore, the consumer needs to be fully mobilized and enlightened concerning killer products. Consumer protection and safety of life and property remain so pivotal in the work of standardization. Consumers should have effective and robust engagement with some through our various channels of interactions and contacts. For instance, end users and consumers need to avail themselves fully of the newly set up alternative dispute resolution mechanism, which is expected to increase activities in agencies' consumer collaboration desks.
The SON, he said, has resolved to continue to promote the growth of small businesses through its various programs. Aboluma believes that consumers of goods must be sufficiently empowered to make the right choice whenever they make purchases at the markets. Papers were presented at the forum on ways of promoting standardization. If reports by the technical committee meeting on machinery equipment is anything to go by, then the nation's diversification drive will soon receive a boost. This is because arrangements have been concluded by the committee to develop new standards for grinding plants, driving plates, and grinding machines already in use in Nigeria. The Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria, represented by the Acting Director, Standards Development of SON, Chinyere Egwonwu, made this known at a meeting in Lagos. The SON boss stated that processing agricultural products is a procedure that transforms raw food into marketable or consumable food products. Aboluma stated that elaboration of the standards for agricultural, for processing equipment and machinery will soon address challenges in the industry. Chairman of the committee, Engineer Ose Ochega, thanked the SON and urged members to be professional in the discharge of their duty. Meanwhile, stakeholders in the Nigerian financial services have commenced participation in the development of African standards for financial services under the auspices of African Organization for Standardization. Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria, Osita Aboluma, was represented at the meeting of the National Mirror Committee of the ASO Technical Harmonization Committee on Good Financial Grant Practice. He reiterated SON's mandate in establishing benchmarks in form of standards for all aspects of the social and economic life of Nigerians.
Permit me to state again that by this assignment, SON is not in any way mandated to regulate the financial sector of Nigeria. And the good financial grant practice standard is by no means a financial regulation standard. It is rather a service standard within the mandate of SON to support and manage the services offered by the financial sector to meet global best practices in meeting the needs of the customers.
The meeting was to broaden the scope of participation of stakeholders in the sector, as well as articulate Nigeria's position on the harmonized draft of GFGP standard ahead of the second meeting of the ASO Technical Harmonization Committee scheduled for Kenya. Acting Director, Standard Development, SON, Chinyere Egwuonwu said, the committees are set to replicate the activities of regional, continental, or international standards to ensure that stakeholders are carried along in the development of standards. Dr. Arome Salisu of the African Youth Development Foundation is chairman of the National Mirror Committee.
We'll be able to contribute adequately to make sure that Nigeria is well represented in terms of content and expectations in the standard. I want to thank the Standard Organization of Nigeria for driving this process from the very beginning. They have provided the necessary leadership to make sure that Nigeria plays active, vibrant role in this entire process.
Welcome back. Two past chief executives of the Standards Organization of Nigeria have been made ambassadors of the organization. The honor is in recognition of their remarkable achievements and laying a solid foundation for the growth of the SON.
This gesture is not only commendable but unprecedented. According to the Sun boss, the contributions of Professor John Akanya and Dr. Joseph Odumodu towards the development of staff, infrastructure, and their roles in the enactment of Sun Act 14 of 2015 are commendable. Aboloma said the knowledge and experiences in standardization and quality assurance are critical to national, regional, and continental developments. While expressing appreciation to the Director General of the SON, the past leaders of the organization promised to provide necessary support as may be required towards the continued improvement of the Standards Organization of Nigeria. Professor Akanya and Dr. Odumodu praised the Director General of the SON for the visible and monumental strides being undertaken and urged the Aboloma-led management to sustain the passion and momentum. According to them, Nigeria stands to benefit immensely from the success of the SON through standardization. Osita Aboloma presented his predecessors with plaque as a token of their ambassadorial appointments. The focus of this meeting, which was declared open by SON's Director General Osita Aboloma, was to examine the existing standard NIS 463/2014 and come up with recommendations that will align with requirements of the World Health Organization Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. Aboloma noted that some of the issues require further investigation and urged the committee to seize the opportunity to examine such issues with a view to reaching a consensus.
There is no doubt, therefore, that our work here is very important. It is a matter of concern that, as at this moment, cigarette is the only product that has NIS, while other standards for tobacco products, such as smokeless and other combustibles, shisha, e-cigarettes, are various stages of development. It is therefore my hope that this meeting will work on standards for other combustibles and smokeless cigarettes.
He enumerated the requirements for consensus building in standards development to include identifying the points of agreement, concentrating discussions on points of divergence in order to achieve a consensus, and allowing parties to state their technical proposals in writing. Director General of the Consumer Protection Council, Barrister Tunde Irukara, believes that the interest of consumers must be given priority in the committee's deliberations.
There are several components to what we do. Primarily, we must protect the entire society. We must protect even people who choose to exercise choice. And we must expand legitimate and fair choices and make sure that everybody is as safe as can be. I look forward to the deliberations here. I think that our work has been made somewhat simple. We've got new prevailing legislation, and essentially it seems to me that what we're trying to do here is comply with the law. And I'm sure that the provisions of that law would be the central theming document that all our deliberations and certainly all our conclusions would emanate from.
For the CPC boss, the health and safety of Nigerians, especially children and women, should be paramount in the development of standards for products. Professor Mrs. Rachel Idowu of the University of Abuja was chairman of the committee. Membership of the committee was drawn from the Federal Ministry of Health, regulatory agencies like NAFDAC, CPC, tertiary and research institutions, professional bodies, NGOs, and manufacturers. Resolutions by the Technical Committee are to be submitted for consideration and approval of the Standards Council of the SON before publication, dissemination, and implementation.
Muna fata shekaru na da za su zo, mutanenmu za su yi la'akari da aikin da muke yi, kuma za su lura cewa ya fi cancanta ka sai abu na kwarai da ka sai abu na arha.
Ka yi meze n'obodo anyị a, ka anyị mee ka ihe a na-eme n'obodo anyị a, ma ihe a na-ebubata n'obodo anyị a ọ dị mma. Anyị na-ayọ bikonu ka anyị jikọọ aka na asị na ofu aka adịghị ekechi ngwugwu. Ka anyị jikọọ aka ka Nigeria wee wọrọ anyị obodo.
Ẹ jẹ́ ká lajú wálẹ̀ gbogbo tá a bá máa fún wa rà ká rí pé o tó pé ojú òṣùwọ̀n. Èyí tí ò bá yé wa àbùkẹ́ tó bá mọ̀ ń pa ẹ̀ ló tó wà sọ́nà. Èyí tá a bá lè rà tí ò bá pójú òṣùwọ̀n ẹ lọ sí standard organization iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ tó bá súnmọ́ yín jù ẹ lọ ṣàlàyé fún wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n á ràn yín lọ́wọ́.
Welcome to the world of standard and quality, where we offer you information on product safety and quality. The program is Standard and You.
Choose life and live. Buy original. Be original. SON.
Quality can be defined as a standard of a product or service as measured against others of similar kind. The desire of any manufacturer is to produce goods of acceptable quality to meet the aspirations of consumers. Hello and welcome to the feedback segment of the program. I am Halimot Osifo. Every day, millions of goods are produced or imported into Nigeria, thereby expanding consumers' choice and increased penchant for quality goods. As these goods compete for patronage at the various markets, consumers' desire for quality goods is driven by his knowledge for such goods and his or her purchasing power. When such good is affordable, it is considered cheap by most consumers, especially when he or she has to pay so little to get so much value. The question is, how cheap is a product that you have to replace within a short period of time? A typical example is the bulb, which our investigations have shown that a significant number of imported bulbs do not last more than 3 days after the date of purchase. For the producer and importer of goods, profit on the business is important. For the consumer, getting value for his or her money is the ultimate. For us as the SON, standards must be enforced in the interest of all. What it means, therefore, is that the producer of a product must ensure quality. The consumer must purchase products at reasonable market price that will keep the manufacturer in business and also derive value for such products. For the unscrupulous businessman who wants to make quick and cheap money and flood our markets with fake and substandard products, remember that the economy is ours and you're a part of us. Say no to substandard products. Buy right, buy original, buy made in Nigeria goods. For any information, you can call us or send in your messages to the number 07059724455. Follow us on Facebook at Standard&U, Instagram and Twitter at Standard&U_. You can also send a mail to the address thestandard&u@gmail.com. From the entire production crew, good evening.